Thanks for logging on to Wayne.com for another edition of Inside the Zone with Blake Sebring, Komets beat writer for the News Sentinel. And Blake, as you mentioned this past week, Komets always seem to have a tough time in that first game of the week, whether it be a Wednesday game, whether it be a Friday game. And we saw it at the Coliseum on Wednesday night against Missouri. I want to get your take, because the complexion of this game changed 42 seconds in. Colin Chalk, a kneeing major, he's gone. And, you know, the other team scores 3 goals in the first 8 minutes of that game. What I want to know is, when I watched the video, it didn't look that bad to me, but your article, your posts on your blog said that was the right call. Why?
Because 20 years ago, that's a minor. Today, where they're so active in protecting players from anything, any referee would have made that call, because he's got to protect himself getting abuse from the league about it if he didn't call it. Now, so if the guy lays down and stays there for a while, like he's really hurt, you have to be proactive rather than, because you can't go back later and change it. So that's why that got called that way.
That was my next question, because how much of it has to do, the severity of the penalty has to do with how it affects the player that was hurt. I mean, if he walks off, no big deal. Is it less?
Yeah.
Than if he's...
Especially when you've got a rookie referee calling his first professional game. He's going to overreact rather than underreact. So, I mean, that's just what's going to happen. And I really believe that any referee in today's hockey would have made that call, because you have to cover your bases in that situation. Now, 20 years ago, like I said, that's a 2-minute minor. You know, maybe you give them an unsportsmanlike or something on top of that, but it's not an automatic game misconduct. But because he gave him the major, it's the automatic game misconduct.
I mean, even looking at it from the angle that we had, and then seeing Al Sims' reaction afterwards when he's talking to the official, they just came together, they just collided. I mean, it didn't even look necessarily like a penalty to me.
Well, I thought it was, because if you looked at the scoreboard replay, and it's partly the way Colin skates. He skates with a little bow-legged. I mean, his knee was out. I mean, whether he intended to or not, the fact that your knee is out makes it a penalty.
Well, that changed the complexion of the game. You're talking 2 power play goals.
But again, we talk about
3-0.
But again, we talk about how they're absolutely terrible the first game of the week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first game of the week, they're terrible. I mean, I don't know that it would have mattered if Colin had gotten a major or not. I still expected them to be behind after the end of the first period, just the way they were playing. They weren't putting any speed into it or any passion. It was a very disappointing performance.
So a disappointing start. Friday they win a shootout. Tab Lardner with the big game. He also had a goal Wednesday night to go over 300 points in his CHL career. So congratulations to him. One of the positives we can talk about. But Saturday back at Fort Wayne, they take on Bloomington in that back-to-back games against them, a home and home, and they lose that one.
And what did Bloomington do?
That's my question. What did Bloomington do?
Bloomington started off the first half of the game. They're playing the trap. They're just, okay, let you beat yourself against our wall of the trap in the neutral zone, and you got to dump it in, and then you got to pay the price to go get it. And the Komets had more shots, but then they just kind of got in that rhythm of that. And then the third period, Bloomington came out and pressured them all over the ice, and the Komets couldn't react to it. They had trouble all night moving the puck out of their zone because of the pressure of Bloomington. I mean, some of the guys they couldn't get it to center ice even. So they spent more and more of the third period playing in their own zone, and they had a couple of bad plays defensively that, one of them, the player goes all the way around the goal. Nobody picks him up. I mean, he could have just done circles out there around the goal, and nobody picked him up defensively, and he shot from 8 feet. The second one, Guy had a turnover at center ice, and then he was late getting back, and he ended up getting right in between the shooter and the goaltender, screening the goaltender. I mean, it was just a bad play, and that led to the game-winning goal.
Yeah, Komets now 8-3-4 in their last 15, 4 points behind for last place. They're back in last place again, unfortunately, behind the Evansville Icemen. But moving forward, one of the stories I want to talk about, Konstantin Shafronov met with the Komets today. There was a possibility that they sign him. What's the outcome of their meeting?
They decided at this time not to sign him, and that was a mutual decision. I talked to Shaffy last week, and he thought, at the very earliest, he could be ready mid-February maybe. It's just he's had 7 months off. I mean, and he is 42 years old, so it is going to take some extra time to get him ready. And he hasn't been in the sprints and stuff like that at practice that much. I mean, it's just going to take time if he does it. And they got Chris Francis back. Right now they got more forwards than they know what to do with. They need some more help on the blue line. They need to work on that area. So Shaffy can't really give you any input there, but he can really help coaching the forwards still.
Yeah, they get Francis back. They get Mike Ratchuk called down, who's a defenseman who I guess replaces Danka, who went on 10-day IR today.
Yeah, he's got a bad back.
All right, so how does that change what this team does right now? I mean, how do these parts fit in? I mean, obviously Francis played 28 games here before, so they know him. How does Ratchuk fit in?
That's going to be interesting because right now he's only here on a conditioning assignment. I mean, he could get called up at any time. It's not like he's been sent here that, okay, you're going to go play there for a month or something. That's not necessarily the case. It's not necessarily the case you'll get called up right away, so you make the most of what you got for as long as you got him. I think he'll probably fit right in. He'll take Danko's spot playing with Bobby Phillips, which would help because then hopefully he'll move the puck and take some of those responsibilities away from Bobby a little bit. And right now the defense needs some help. They're really not looking that good. I mean, I think, we talked about the missing Brandon Warner. I mean, he does move the puck up, and he and Frankie are really good at that. That's where they really, really needed the help right now.